So who would have thought that launching a paid subscription model amid a global pandemic would pay off? Who? El País. El País did it, and did it back in May 2020. And just after 4 months, they got over 64,000 digital-only subscribers. And within a month, from September to October, this figure has also increased. So welcome. We have here today Borja Echevarría de la Gándara, El País Managing Director, to tell us all about this model. Welcome, Borja.
Hello, everybody. So yes, as Angela said, I mean, it sounds kind of crazy launching a subscription model in the middle of a pandemic. As you can imagine, this was not at all planned. Most of all, it has been really, really stressful. Not only because we were launching our subscription model, I mean, that was part of it, but El País has been going through big changes for the last couple of years. And in the last month, we changed the whole technology of El País. So we are right now using ARC, the Washington Post CMS. Those changes were finally made during the months of November, December, even January. So we were in the middle, and as many of you, I'm sure, have gone through these kind of changes. They are really, really stressful, and we were in the middle of fixing everything on that side. We had also gone through big changes inside of the newsroom. In the last couple of years, there was a big shift in the masthead of El País, mid-2018. And that was also the time when we started thinking about launching the subscription model. So the combination of the three pieces, newsroom changes, we're always doing newsroom changes, but this was really, really big changes. Then technology and the big business change that was launching the subscription model, that was already a huge, huge challenge. So just imagine that on top of that, putting a global pandemic, I mean, of course, it was nothing we could expect. Now, I've been working in the industry as a journalist for the last 25, 26 years. Gone through 9/11, 2011, also the attacks in Madrid in 2004, where 200 people were killed in the trains in Madrid. And though those two events were like huge in terms of journalism and in terms of pressure, for me, this has been like the really, really challenging moment, no? How to go through all these changes and then cover an event that is already going through months. No? It's not something that it's squeezed in a couple of weeks, a month. So it's been really challenging as for all of you, of course. But we had been planning the launch of the subscription model for the last 2-3 years, and we had a day in the calendar. So months before, we had put the 1st of March, the day in the calendar where we would launch the subscription, our paywall. No. So when the pandemic started to arise all over the world, when we felt the situation was getting really, really tough and complicated, we were about to launch our model. So there was a very big internal debate. Should we launch? Should we wait? Of course, we thought that if we launch, in the short term, probably we would get a lot of subscribers. But also we thought that in the long term, people would appreciate that idea of service journalism and serving everybody and serving, I mean, for free. It's never for free. It has never been for free, though we tend to speak about giving our content for free, and I think in advertisement models it was never really for free. But we thought that people would appreciate that approach. I would say the debate was strong inside of El País, but finally we made the decision to postpone it for a couple of months. It was not as simple as changing the date. There was already a complete marketing strategy. We had invested a lot in our messaging for a specific situation. We had invested, and even we had started communicating weeks before that we were about to launch. So when we decided to postpone it till May, we had to change totally our approach. And the only way we could do this was really with a lot of transparency. That this may sound like obvious, but it's not always simple in this kind of organizations, big organizations, like to go openly and explain what is going on, why what you had already told to the public, you had committed to launch a specific model, why you were changing this. So it was a communication strategy, big communication strategy change, but also our marketing approach. We were creating all the campaign, and suddenly we had decided to launch in May. I think what it's interesting, and many people do not remember precisely, because we always say we launch the 1st of May, our paid model, but what we really did is in March, we already put up our paid model, but what we didn't put up was our paywall. So what we did is start changing the messaging in March, and instead of building that message around a paywall, like kind of a transactional relationship, our communication was more like if we were like The Guardian, like a membership model. We told the people, okay, March, we're not putting our paywall up, but you can subscribe. If you want to pay for what our journalists are doing now in March, in April, you can already do it. You can become a subscriber. We are not going to build a paywall. We are not going to make a difference between the people that want to pay and the people that don't want to pay. So before May, we already started acquiring subscribers. As I said, the whole communication changed, because it's not the same launching a metered paywall with the kind of messaging that brings to kind of a membership model. So for 2 months, we were a membership model, and from the beginning of May, we became a more traditional kind of the New York Times, Washington Post paywall model. So those 2 months were very important for us. We learned a lot from our audience. We had the capacity of testing with our audience, of fixing some of the stuff we had created in terms of user experience, all the process of subscriptions. We were getting a lot of feedback, not always positive, of course. When you launch a subscription model, not everything works like smoothly from the beginning. So we were getting a lot of feedback for those 2 months. So that when we launched at the beginning of May, many of the things that were not working were fixed, and that was really a good experience. So when we put the paywall up, I would say it was a big success. We didn't expect from day one. I would say that probably in the first month, we got the amount of subscribers we thought we would get like in 5 months. So it was that kind of speed, that kind of surprise in many ways. I think we had created from March, from the beginning of the pandemic, we had created like huge bonds with the audience. The audience was coming massively, and I would say much more important than massively, it was coming all the time. It was coming like the same person, the same users. They were coming dozens of times during the day. People were really addicted to information. They needed for their lives. They needed to understand what was going on. They needed kind of service information to move around in their cities, in the country. Could they travel? Should they stay at home? What measures should they take from a health perspective? So the bonds we created for those months before we launched the paywall, March and April, that they were like the hardest months in terms of health in Spain. So that created like a big bond with the audience. No? So in April, that was the biggest month in terms of traffic. El País had around 180 million unique users. I think it was more than 1 billion page views. 1 billion page views during that month. So that tells you the kind of engagement that we had with our audience. And we know from the experience of people that have already put up a paywall and that they have been in this subscription model for like years, that engagement is the key to subscription, more than volume or unique users. So in terms of that potential conversion, it was the best possible situation. I mean, please don't understand me wrong. I mean, no one wants a pandemic. No one wants a pandemic like to build your business model. But if we analyze it from a cold perspective, the idea of having that huge audience, so loyal, so engaged, in terms of moving that same audience to a subscription model, to making them become like loyal subscribers and paying, it was the best possible situation. At the same time, I would say the COVID pandemic needed, from a journalistic perspective, it needed certain strengths that were already inside El País. I think El País was very well prepared for this situation. Part was, I mean, a good newsroom, like with a strong culture, but also part of it was a little bit of luck. I would say El País, it's why El País was so well prepared for this situation. It's a global newsroom. I think it's one of the only newsrooms that hasn't cut in the last years. We have more correspondents than before the crisis of 2010. We are very strong in health issues. We have a lot of journalists that they are specialized. We are very strong in science if you compare El País to our competitors. And one of the reasons that we're so strong in science is that 4 or 5 years ago, El País acquired a startup, a journalistic startup that is totally specialized in science. So we have 7 journalists in the newsroom that they are dedicated full-time to science. And also we have changed our data and infographics team like nine months ago. So the combination of those pieces were very important for us to send the message to the market that we were very well prepared and that we were like in a different level to our competitors in terms of deciding if you want to subscribe or not. All the campaign, all the marketing campaign around our subscription was based on the facts, not on the truth, as many other companies have done. We believe that facts bring the truth. So all the essence of the campaign was around subscribe to the facts, and we have seen how important is this. Misinformation has been there for like many years already. I would say 2016 was a critical moment, but the coronavirus pandemic has bring a lot of misinformation, fake news, etc. So building all your strategy around subscribe to the facts was also, I think, a good decision. And also, I would say the work that has been done the previous years. It's not about what we have done in the last months, but what we have been doing, I would say, in the last 2, 3, 4 years. It was important in terms of strategy, all our registration approach. So before launching our subscription and paid model, a year and a half ago, we launched a strong strategy registration strategy. And right now we have close to 3 million registration people, 3 million people that are registered, not subscribers, but registered. And that is the best way of acquiring subscribers afterwards. I think we have built a strong analytics team and understanding of the analytics in the last 2 years. So it's not like when the New York Times launched in 2011, that they were working and building a lot around intuition. Being late, as we have been late in launching a subscription model, it has some benefits that we have learned a lot from other outlets. And also El País, I think in terms of strengths and uniqueness, we have a strong community in the center-left spectrum of the audience. Spain, mainly the big newspapers, they're more on the right side or center-right. And beside some digital native outlets like eldiario.es, that they are in the left side of the spectrum, like the big outlets, El País is pretty alone in terms of center-left. And our approach, it's very moderate. No, so we're trying not to contribute to this polarized environment, and we strongly believe that staying in the center in terms of news and your approach to news is very beneficial. I think it's very beneficial for society, but I think it's also very beneficial for a subscription model. So what is happening right now after these 5 months in this process? So a month ago, as Angela said, we published our numbers. I think it was the 4th of September. We were around 64,200 subscribers. I cannot share the news because I think we should share them before with our newsroom and with our company. But I would tell you it's still growing steadily. The amount of subscribers we have a month afterwards it has grown quite a lot. Of course, things slow down from the big explosion from the beginning, but I think we still have a lot of tools to grow. So the good thing is that this is a marathon, and we're growing and growing, and we don't stop growing. So the numbers look really good. We just launched a subscription model in Brazil in our Portuguese edition. El País has a newsroom in Sao Paulo with 20 journalists, and for the last, I think it's 4 years already, that we have a Portuguese edition. So we launched it like a week ago, 1st of October, and we're very soon going to launch So our paywall for the whole America, we already have a paywall in Mexico, in Colombia, etc. But the prices are still too high because we launch with the same price we have in Europe. And that's $10 a month, 10 euros a month. So we're gonna fix this very soon. So we can have a price that is more adjust to Mexico, to Argentina, to Colombia. So that's coming very soon. And for me, the most important thing is that we're in a very exciting moment in terms of redefining what is El País from once you have launched a subscription model. I think once you have launched a subscription model, you have to change everything. You have to rethink how you're organized, how your newsroom is organized, how your marketing team works, how your advertisement teams are approaching this moment where there is a lot of tension between two models, the subscription model and the advertisement model. How you bring new profiles to your company, not only in the newsroom, but also on the product side, user experience, etc. At the same time, we're seeing that the decline of the print newspaper, I mean, it has accelerated during the pandemic. That's not good, but that's reality. And what we were expecting for the next couple of years, 3 years, it has come very fast. So you have to adapt. You have to change the whole organization. We have to accelerate the digital transformation of the whole company. And that's what we are doing right now. And I hope the next year is going to be critical in these changes. Of course, as everybody from a health perspective and from a citizen perspective, we all hope that the pandemic goes away soon. But also, I hope away from a company perspective, so that we can invest. I think we need investment to change, and we need a better situation. So I think we're living complicated moments, but at the same exciting moments. That is where we are. That is where El País is right now. Thanks a lot. And Angela, any questions?
Yes, Borja, we have some questions for you, and I will show you now here on the screen. One that Amandre asked, and so many people wanted to know also the answer. It is, what's the criteria to decide if a piece is published for free or under the paywall?
I mean, there's no criteria in that sense. We are not a freemium model. So this question should go more to a model that is freemium. But for a model that is like El País, you just have 10 pieces of content free every month, and then you have to pay. So that's important, because we decided, there was a lot of debate also what kind of model we should launch. Our freemium model, kind of Le Monde or The Telegraph or El Mundo in Spain, where you decide if a piece is free or is under the paywall. But we didn't go to that model. We went more to like the New York Times model, where you decide that you give for free a number of pieces, regardless what kind of piece, and then you're gonna charge. I prefer a lot more our model, the metered model, because it doesn't have an impact in the newsroom. I don't like the idea of having to choose if something is premium or it's not premium. I think our ambition is that every piece of content we create should be premium, even if it's short, long, any kind of piece. Our aspiration, our ambition should be like top quality.
Thank you, Borja. We have time for one more. Here there is one from Francois Nel. Borja, thank you. You said your subscription exceeded targets. What are your targets? What are the key sources of traffic for subscription? Direct, social, or search?
I mean, we have a lot of direct traffic. El País is still very, very, very strong as a brand. And from the start, I would say most of the sources of our subscribers came directly to our homepage, to our brand. I would say this is good in one sense, but I would also say that we have an opportunity in building a whole strategy of acquiring subscribers through other sources like newsletters, on social, on Instagram, because we feel comfortable getting so many people come directly to our brand. We shouldn't stay there. So I would say that the positive side is strong brand, a lot of direct traffic, a lot of subscribers coming through the homepage, but big opportunity on acquiring subscribers through other sources. And in terms of what are our goals, I mean, everything has changed with the pandemic. Everything has changed. The goals we had, I thought that we were gonna reach around 50,000 subscribers in October. And that would be kind of that would have been kind of a really, really good goal. But we were in the second month. In the second month, we were already in 50,000 subscribers now. So we need to redefine all our goals, and let's see what's happening. I think El País has like a really big opportunity as a global brand. Most of our subscribers are coming from Spain right now, around 80%. And America, Spanish language, that's 450 million people that speak Spanish all around the world. El País is a well-established brand in Latin America, in Mexico, in Colombia, in Argentina. So I think we have a very good opportunity of growing our base in Latin America.
Thank you, Borja. Thank you for your time today and for the comments that I'm seeing here. Everybody enjoyed your presentation, really good insights, and thank you for your time and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Angela, and thanks everybody.